The Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. The Office, Civil Rights, supports the Department of Homeland Security as it is secures the nation while preserving individual liberty, fairness, and equality under the law. Into all of the departments of activities, advising department leadership, personnel, and consulting with federal partners, training, technical assistance, and best practices to state and local partners, communicating with individuals and communities whose civil rights and civil liberties may be affected by the department activities. Now, I've emailed Homeland Security and they haven't communicated. I'm sorry, Janet. Yes. But this idea that I have to be an employee of Homeland Security, yes, for you to enforce my civil rights and my civil liberties, yes, while knowing of forgery, fraud, and terrorism, yes, I feel confident that I can have you removed. Now, investigating civil rights and civil liberties complaints regarding the department, policies, programs, activities, or actions, and issuing formal policy, practice, and training recommendations. Now, the EEO programs are promoting workforce diversity and merit system principles. Now, I know that you thought that I had to be an employee of Homeland Security, but I don't. Yeah. See, somebody fraudulently falsified my state issued identification. Yeah. They took custody of my sons using a protection order in 2011 that happens to violate the Full Faith and Credit Act. Yes, because they didn't have the jurisdiction of Guam. And then they had me arrested, reissued it while I was on trial. Yes. And when I was found not guilty, it looks like my wife did not give the court the stipulation and order. Then they fraudulently issued a dissolution of marriage without the jurisdiction of the United Nations and without the enforcement of the Full Faith and Credit Act of the United States. And then when I inform law enforcement, they don't seem to think that it violates what's known as civil liberties and civil rights. Now, for the employees right now, Janet, uh, did did Jessica get a Braille copy of the dissolution of marriage? Yeah. hmm Did she get a Braille copy of the protection orders? Yes. hmm Did she understand that when they admitted to the court the declaration of my non-biological stepdaughter? Yes. After 10 years of marriage, that she was blind. Yeah. And then they made available to her the brailing of her actual declaration to the court right now. You know, Judge Rourke, I'm going to sue you for violating the Americans with Disabilities Act. Yes. For the admitting, of the declaration of a blind stepdaughter. Yes. That did or did not have it brailled and then transcribed into, well, who was it that wrote it? Obviously. Did she have somebody write it for her? Compliance Branch Rehabilitation Act 1973. The CRCL received over 2,000 allegations with resulting in 500 complaint investigations. Oh. Now, there was numerous other documents involving the civil rights. Yeah. Um, there's a reason. Yeah. There, you have a you there. Uh, well, let's go through Homeland Security again, because I'm thinking that you intentionally used. Oh, look at anti-discrimination group. Oh, look at that. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Yes. That compliance program ensure non-discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin. Yes. Program, civil rights assurances, post-award reviews, monitoring, complaint investigation, data collection, training, and technical assistance. Yes. Now, I complain, right, this violates my civil rights. You know what the sheriff and the police department? You know what they do? Yes. They decided to fabricate some false crimes against me. Yes. Where I wasn't in Swim and I wasn't in Jefferson County. Oh, and then their answer was to issue fraudulent mental health evaluations, yeah, that happen to be enforceable in any court of the United States. Now, let's say I went to Homeland Security and I said, I'd like to get a job working there, a job. Well, the individual in human resources, do they get to see all these? Well, could you tell me something? Um, this morning I wanted to know where the prisons are at. Yes. Now I'd like to know where the deep underground Homeland Security bunkers are. Yes. The ZB, the DUSB, locations where if we had a cataclysmic event, yes, one of these apocalyptic types of experiences that nations have, yes, where were you going to put approximately 5 million American citizens? Now, I know you, Jane, and Janet, yes, were sure that you were in control of the whole world. But somehow I think you got a hold of a laser that the Air Force had. Yes, they they had a place called NORAD, and you thought they used pick and shovels to be able to kind of, well, dig that area out of that mountain in the Rocky Mountains. Yes, they did. Yeah. You thought they went in there with jackhammers and they took it out bucket by bucket by bucket. Yes. But they rented the place out to the Stargate Company for the making of that show. Yes. But somehow I think that Janet and Jane, yes, got a hold of one of these Air Force lasers. Yes, yes, yes. Where they make these deep underground military bunkers. Right, right, right. And you thought, well, we might as well set up some underground cities for the end of the world. Yes. We're going to invite millions of American citizens to live there for X number of hundreds of years. And Homeland Security is going to rule and reign underneath the United States of America. Now, Janet, Jane, where are your deep underground Homeland Security bunkers, the Duzabuzz, where you decided to use the Air Force's technology?